Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Tales from the Taro Patch. I'm here with a very cool guest. It's my first organization that I'm interviewing, and yeah, I'll let them introduce themselves. And yeah.
Well, aloha, mahalo for having us. First, I want to give you thank you for having us. Aloha everyone, I'm Nikki and co-founder of Maʻi Movement Hawaiʻi.
And I'm Brandy, also a co-founder of Maʻi Movement Hawaiʻi.
Solid. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with Maʻi Movement, I think they're a super cool nonprofit, and yeah, their main mission is to like help underprivileged females or anybody with periods. But I'll let them talk more about it for themselves. Yeah, so first question I like to ask everybody is basically where are you from and how was it for you growing up, just to like get an idea of the environment that raised them.
Okay, I'll go first. So we're from Waimanalo. We grew up on the homestead right on the highway. Growing up was, I don't know, we were feral. We washed ourselves, we just did everything ourselves, you know, always playing.
I mean, it was hard. Both of our parents were working,
Yeah.
like, you know, so many locals. Thankfully we had Brandy. She was, second mother to us, being the eldest of 5 children.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The bus was our limo. We were always catching bus. It was very different back then. The bus, you had to always catch a bus everywhere. We knew when the bus was coming. It was like an internal clock. Like,
Yeah.
oh, the bus is coming, let's go. We danced hula. We grew up dancing hula, so we're always doing hula. Always with our cousins. And our parents left us home, and like our homes are next to our great grandma them's and our grandma's sisters, so we just went through the yards, always playing. The Manapua man fed us every day, kind of.
Did you guys live in the homesteads?
Yeah, on the highway.
Oh,
Yeah.
mean. So did you what schools did you guys go through?
I went to Sacred Hearts and then Kaiser. I graduated from Kaiser.
Okay.
I also went to Sacred Hearts in elementary, and then I went to Iolani afterwards. And our brother, just for transportation, he went to St. Patrick's, so right across the street.
Yeah.
And then he went to St. Louis and Roosevelt. But when we were really young, our mom died.
Oh,
She died when she was just 38 years old. So, at the time, Brandy was 17, I was 12. Our other sister, Jamie, who also, helps out with Maʻi Movement,
Yeah.
she was only 5 at the time. So our lives really changed,
Yeah.
in so many ways. And, one thing that our mom raised us with was, if anything happens, just make sure you guys stay together. Sadly, things did kind of, fracture in our family. So all of our paths went different ways,
Yeah.
because we all just kind of handled her death, differently. But that, was something that really impacted us.
Yeah,
And
because our
even-
mom was like a constant, like,
Yeah,
just so strict.
yeah.
So was there like a specific story behind why you guys wanted to start Maʻi Movement?
Yeah, Nikki. She actually wanted to do it in Hong Kong, and she would always
Yeah.
talk about it, like, oh, I'm gonna do this here. And then when I was living Big Island, I was doing like a community Zoom because it was, what is that, COVID, right?
Yeah.
And so like one of the founders for Hawaii Diaper Bank, she was talking about how she started. And so she just had a box and people would donate. So I ended up talking to Nikki and I said, hey, you should get a box. People would donate, like the food bank, when you're at work,
Yeah.
they ask for canned goods or like school, right? And then we're like, oh yeah. And then we started talking about it on this one phone call. And then it was like, is there anything in Hawaii? And I was like, I don't know. So we're Googling, talking, and then we found that there was nothing, no grassroots in Hawaii. And then we thought like, oh my God, we should do it in Hawaii.
Solid.
Yeah. And we did it. We got a whole logo all in 2 hours.
So what was like the process of like coming up with your guys' mission statement and like I guess trying to do everything like not professionally, but how organized organizations are.
Yeah. I had, it was, as Randy shared, when I first learned about period poverty, I was in Hong Kong. And, my focus, just because of where I was, I I saw it as a developing country, you know, kind of third world issue. It was very important to me because I had a daughter. You know, I'm a mother. I'm a woman. I have my period. You know, but when we looked at Hawaii, right, we said, how, you know, is this really happening in our islands? And Brandy would always share, you know, because I was so much younger, you know, about stories like how we would visit, you know, our aunties in jail or in domestic violence shelters and homes, you know. So that really moved us. Okay, what do we want to build? You know, even though we don't have any experience, you know, we never started anything before, but you know, we really feel this strong pull to do something. And so, you know, we were thinking about names. A fun little fact: when I was in Hong Kong, I was gonna call my nonprofit there Punani Project. So I had created like this whole plan. How am I gonna launch it in Hong Kong? You know, put together the business plan, all that. And Brandy was like, I was like, how about Punani Project? She's like, next, that cannot work in Hawaii. And so, you know, we were thinking of names, and she said, you know, Maʻi, because that's how
that's the word we all grew up
with. You know, it's slang, it's colloquial, it's a euphemism for period. Like there's even period is a euphemism itself, you know. So for us, we said, okay, Maʻi, most people will understand, most locals. And then movement, because, you know, it goes well together.
And that's what we're doing, a movement. Like we're trying to get people aware of like what we're doing.
And we really wanted to make a change in the community.
And like being Hawaiian, like it's like a big thing for us because like how we grew up, you know, we have cousins, aunties, and not everybody had money, not everybody had anything, and we wanted to do something because we're Hawaiian. This is where we're from, so we wanted to make sure that we represent the Hawaiian community. And sometimes I think it kind of throws off some people. You're not, you know, like you're not Hawaiian or whatever, and it's like, oh my gosh. So and it makes us really proud, you know, to be Hawaiian and to be able to do this and push Maʻi movement, and then we're also doing it for all of Hawaii. That's like pretty much our kuleana, right? Being Hawaiian. Like taking care, like
everybody here, not just
the land and everybody on it.
Definitely. That's very beautiful. I like that mana'o a lot. Or for those of you guys who are unaware, could you maybe define what period poverty is?
So period poverty is the inadequate access to menstrual products or education, and you know, as the name suggests, right, everyone thinks, oh, poverty, it's dealing with money. And you know, of course that is, you know, one thing is you don't have enough money, you know, to buy products, and you know, like that's how we grew up, that's how a lot of our families grew up, you know, experiencing that, working multiple jobs, just struggling to make ends meet. But it's also lack of education, and that can be at home, right? If you don't have a strong household, or you know, you don't have anyone to talk to, an auntie, a mom, to talk about your period, or in school, not all the schools have that same kind of health education, but it's also stigma, you know, social and cultural stigma, you know, exists. I mean, we can talk about it. Like, I love that you're having us on the show to talk about periods, but you know, when we started, it was really hard for us to have people that wanted to talk to us. There, you know, people, even friends and family would say, "Oh, why are you guys doing
just
that?"
Just the word Maʻi is like, ugh.
I can totally see that.
And then the last is, you know, not having access to running water. And you know, when I learned about it in developing countries, I was like, okay, that makes sense. And people say, is that happening in Hawaii? But if we look on our streets, we have so many houseless people right now. So they're also, you know, struggling with period poverty.
Yeah, we just, one of our cousins, we just talked to him the other day. He's actually homeless on the street. So his girlfriend, right, lives with him, and they live in a car. So we started asking, like, what does she do? Like, how does she get products? It was steal. We steal it. I'm like, oh my gosh. So, you know, just like that kind of stuff. And they deal with this, and I mean, that's normal to them, you know?
Our cousin, when she was on the beach, she said, I would just free bleed, or I would just use whatever towels or rags I could get if I didn't have products.
Yeah, I feel like, kind of like how you was talking to my auntie about, like, there definitely is like she probably their parents can teach them, but it's like, not everybody's parents are always around or there, or not everybody has a mom even, you know, or women in their life.
And it's also, like Nick said, cultural.
Yeah.
Some
cultural.
cultures like don't talk about it. It's taboo. It's like, just deal with it. You have it, deal with it.
I mean, in Hawaiian culture, women could just take the week off in the hale
I know.
maki and
Yeah.
get taken care of.
I wish we had that today. I want to hang out there all week.
Yeah.
Talk stories.
I kind of make that, I make a joke to my friends a lot, like, because you know how in today's climate, everybody's so, like, nuts about gender and stuff.
Yeah.
I always like to joke with my friends, like, bro, if guys had to have periods every month, there's no, bro, like, we'd be calling in sick to work, like, bro, there's no way we could handle it as hammer as women do, so.
We forgot to bring the thing.
Oh,
The simulator.
Yeah, that would have been a fun bit, honestly.
Yeah.
I see videos of that, and I want to know if the people are just faking their reaction or not. Did you guys, like, try it?
I didn't.
On a monthly basis, we all natural.
But you never tried the machine yet?
We're gonna come back and do it with you.
Yeah, I'll definitely,
Yeah.
we gotta make a clip of that.
Yeah.
So what was the, like, most surprising data you guys came across while you guys were doing your but your guys' whole movement?
I mean, no, you're right. When we started off, it was little, you know. We started off with, you know, small donation drives, which was tough during COVID.
Our first donation drive was in Waimea because I worked up there at Church Row, and we had like a little tent. And you know, Waimea is always raining, so you know, we dealt with the rain. And some of my coworkers, they came and brought stuff. It was kind of like a try run to see like who would do it. And we think like, oh yeah, of course women, because they all understand the struggle. You know, wrapping the toilet paper if you don't have this, asking people to borrow. So that was good. Like we had a good turnout. It was a surprise, especially Waimea.
Yeah.
It's like far away in the middle
Super
of
country.
Yeah. So it was good.
But we learned quickly that, you know, we can't, like, providing products will always be a part of what we do because your periods are coming no matter what, right?
Yeah.
It comes whether you have a good job, you don't have a job, or if there's a pandemic. And so we always had services, but we knew we have to add in, you know, the education piece. Because, you know, in the beginning, we would just talk story with everyone. You know, it was almost like cold calling in a way, you know, like telling people, okay, you know, we're a new nonprofit. I know you didn't hear about us before, but, you know, this is what we're doing. And we would get a lot of
just nothing.
Yeah, nothing. Or people are like, Maʻi, you know, you're doing stuff with periods, what? And even it was surprising to me because I'd be talking to, you know, like nonprofit directors or, you know, heads of clinics, and they would say, oh, I never heard about this issue, but oh yeah, you know, there was this one time I was talking to someone and, you know, they said they faced this issue. And so also when we were, you know, figuring out, okay, how are we gonna, you know, start Maʻi Movement, we tried to like, is there anyone doing anything? And, you know, if there was someone doing something, it was always connected to another issue.
Yeah.
But we're like, this is something that is so big and important. We need to focus on it 100%.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't realize just how much women go through it in Hawaii, especially. Like, especially for guys, we don't ever think about that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? It even blew my mind, like, realizing, like, oh, like, girls gotta buy period products for the rest of their life just because they're girls.
Until you menopause.
Yeah, until you menopause. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and some girls start at 9 years old now.
Yeah.
Or some even, like when we had testimony on the bills, a teacher had submitted that, because like a big push for us when we were advocating for the school bill is we wanted to include elementary as well.
Yeah.
So we did this like statewide the statewide report, you know, asking people, we want to understand, you know, what is period poverty in Hawaii? Because before it was all like this, right? Just talking story people, you know, and we could, everyone was sharing their stories, but, you know, that
it wasn't like a governing body like asking for your stories. It was more just like talking story.
Yeah. And so when we did that report, you know, nearly 30% got their periods, you know, in elementary age. So then that helped us to shape that bill. And a teacher actually submitted testimony and said, you know, I really support this because one time we had a 7-year-old who got her period and she didn't even know. And, you know, they were scrambling around the whole school looking for products for her.
Yeah, that's crazy. Sorry, I'm just.
But can you imagine like a 7-year-old?
That's like younger than my niece, and like.
You know, some things like for me, like that gets me is like when some people are like, why do you need periods, or like period poverty, or why are you guys doing this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't you guys have like moms or sisters,
Yeah.
grandma,
Yeah.
auntie? And I'm like, I don't get it, but then they get it, and then they're like, oh yeah, that's true. Or some of them think like, oh yeah, I remember that one time I didn't have this or that.
Yeah.
So
I trip out when I see like women in your guys' comments trying to bash you guys. I'm like, wow, like what?
yeah,
Like, why? It's so misplaced, the hate. It's also, yeah.
it's just social
I
media.
support your guys' nonprofit.
Oh,
Thank
wow.
I'm endorsing
Thank
them, bro.
you.
So, yeah. So what strategies do you guys employ to make sure you're helping like the most, I guess, at need communities?
So first, I joke that, it was kind of just cold calling,
Yeah.
but that's really how we figured out, how to work in the community. One, we're of the community, right?
Yeah.
So we know, and actually Brandy, this was early on when we were talking about how we wanted to do this, we said, okay, of course we're going to start with partner organizations, right? The typical ones that are out in the community. But Brandy had said, do you remember this, Brandy?
No.
Oh.
I'm
Do you remember this conversation? She's like, what did Brandy say?
Yeah.
Classic.
So Brandy had said, Nix, not everybody goes through a partner organization for help. And so
Yeah.
from the very beginning, we actually said we will allow, or we set up our systems so that people could just request directly on our website. And in the beginning we didn't have money. We did a GoFundMe. It was really cute, and we're like, we got $5,000. But back then, Brandy and Jamie would have to drive and deliver, and sometimes because Brandy, you were on Hawaiʻi Island,
Oh, yeah.
she drive
to Kona,
hour.
and I lived Ponoka'a, you know how that drive is. I'm like, or to Hilo.
But once we got a little bit more
Now I'm
money,
thinking about the drive. I did a
What?
drive in Kona at Old Days.
Oh, like a product drive?
Yeah,
Yeah.
to collect, and I had it in my car and everything, and one of the homeless guys came up on his bike and he was like, oh, are you like a radio station? I was like, no, but Target's there, can you go get some product and put it in here? It was funny, now that I think about it. And he was like serious, like, oh, are you a DJ? And I'm like, no, it's Maʻi Movement. And all the guys when I say Maʻi Movement, this is what we do, they're like, oh, and then they like walk away. But it's stigma, shame. Like, we're trying to educate people so it'd be normal, normalize it, you know?
But once we got more money, then we just started mailing it out.
Okay.
So we actually mail statewide,
Oh, man.
every single island.
Yeah.
And even Ni'ihau, we have a connection to get products there. So we mail to Kauai, and they're able to get products there.
Oh, that's
Yeah, because
super
I went to
cool.
door in Kona, and I had to like put all their addresses in my thing, and I met the people, and they're like, "Oh my God, you delivered!" I'm like, "Yeah, because
We didn't have money. We didn't
Yeah.
have money back then, but we wanted to make sure that whoever asked for it, we could give it to them.
Yeah, that's super solid. So now that you guys have grew, like what other methods do you guys use to distribute products, I guess, for people in need?
So it's kind of changed, over time. During COVID, there were a lot of donation, the drive-by donation that people were doing.
Yeah.
So Brandy was doing those. Jamie was also helping out, and other volunteers. So, that was a great way to get
Oh yeah, the
people.
distribution when you remember they give food and stuff.
Yeah.
You stand in the long lines, and then at the end they get a period product.
But and it was funny too, because they would also walk around and go to the cars, and sometimes it was only the dads or the uncles. And at first, when they asked them in the beginning of the line, they would say, "Oh, do you want a pack of do you want one of our Maʻi kids?"
They're like, "No."
They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, what's that? Oh, peer packs. Oh, no, we don't like." But then by the end of the line, because they would ask them in the front and at the back, they say, "Oh yeah, I gotta grab like."
Or my kids, or
yeah,
my
for my
Yeah,
kids
yeah.
or my wife, so that was also a way to normalize. But a big way is, so as I shared, we mail out directly, we go to partner organizations, but we have more volunteers on every island as well.
Yeah.
So they're able to help us to go out, into the communities, and to make sure that, especially like Hawaiʻi Island, getting into areas like Ka'u,
Yeah.
harder to reach communities. It's really important that, we're working with, good partners and, people that have been there for years.
Place, Apuna, right? Neighborhood? Yeah.
And even like the DOE, they have
yeah.
a really solid houseless coordinator there as well. So his name is Courtney. Shout out to Courtney.
Shout out Courtney.
He's been really solid in helping us.
Me. So if other people like wanted to get involved and I guess help you guys in your mission, like how can people reach out and I guess volunteer or
Just go on our website, or we post it on our social media handles. Like, we're doing a volunteer, sign up here, or go
Okay.
here. And then maʻimovement.org is our website.
Okay.
And then there's like a volunteer section, donate section, requests.
Yeah.
So you can request through there, donate. Yeah.
Your guys' Instagram handle is just at Maʻi Movement.
Yeah.
At Maʻi Movement Hawaii.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're at Facebook, but
Instagram,
Facebook is a
Facebook,
little bit
and
old,
even
yeah.
TikTok.
Yeah. I mostly just use Facebook for like old relatives.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're like, nobody's on our Facebook.
Yeah.
And then we're like, just Instagram, okay?
So I guess starting out, what was some of the biggest challenges you guys faced versus like the challenges you guys face now?
Oh, starting off,
When-
we were all in different places.
Yes.
So to get together, like I was on Big Island, Jamie's on
Oahu.
Oahu,
Yeah.
Nikki was in
I was in Maryland at the time. So, I mean, we had like internal challenges, but it's kind of interesting to see how the organization has changed. So, you know, in the beginning, it was pandemic time, right? So
Yeah.
we were separated, but it worked because everybody was social distancing. Nobody wanted to see each other in person. But from an outside perspective, like if you're asking me, you know, what challenges did we face? Kind of shared a little bit. When we started off, nobody was talking about periods, right? Nobody knew about what period poverty was. So it kind of came back to that barrier of shame and stigma, you know, where that's what we first faced. It's like, oh, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Is this really a problem? You know, is this something coming from the continent or the mainland, you know, like
Woke
this
shit.
yeah, like this is not happening in our islands, but that's where our education piece came in, right? And having that data, like we had the stories and now we got the data to back it up. Like this is what's really happening, and sharing that with people. So there was this it was an awakening movement, an education movement for a lot of people. But, you know, more recently, it's kind of shifted,
Yeah.
you know, and it does kind of mirror, sadly, what's happening on the continent. You know, there's a lot of challenges to women, to reproductive health. And personally, I never thought that we would experience that just because of the way we grew up. You know, in
Yeah.
Hawaii, we uplift our women. You know, we say mana wahine, we mean
Yeah.
it, we love it. Everybody takes pride in that. But then, you know, recently, and really just in the last year, we've seen that, this is woke shit. You know,
Yeah.
why? Oh, they must be from, I don't know,
Wherever, not Hawaii.
California.
Yeah.
Like, don't bring that to Hawaii. And it's like, this has been in Hawaii, you know, for decades.
Yeah. We just don't see it. We're so
Yeah.
busy trying to make money to survive here, right?
Yeah.
So,
And like you guys said, like the shame around talking about it.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Especially growing up, like, I don't think kids feel like they can open up about that kind of
yeah.
stuff.
I never talked to my mom. I had to like learn from my friends at school.
Yeah.
You know, like that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Like,
And it's funny because like same household, right? But my mom talked to me about it, and I remember she dropped off like a little stuffed animal with a pad when I thought I got my period at school. So it's kind of interesting too, like
I'm the
how
oldest, so I went first. So she's like, okay, I can't do that.
Yeah.
And Nikki's next, so
Yeah.
Like
I gotta do this, right?
and like even the word maʻi, you know, in our household, it was a positive word. But, you know, some people said in my household, this has negative connotation. And, you know, we respect whatever you want to call your maʻi, you know, that's up to you. But for us, we just want to empower people. However you malama your maʻi, you know, you just gotta have that
Yeah.
empowerment.
For sure.
Yeah.
So where would you guys like to see Maʻi Movement in the next 5 years?
We
Gone.
actually,
No.
yeah, we actually don't want
In-
money
in-
movement. Hopefully, in a
Yes.
perfect world, like everybody gets the picture by
Yeah.
5 years, and
Well,
we don't have to do maʻi movement. We don't have to have like a nonprofit to talk about periods. It should be like normal.
Yeah.
And that's
we
the goal,
shouldn't be-
right?
We shouldn't be like
to
everybody should,
normalize
like,
it.
yeah, normalize it.
and you know the global goal to end poverty is 2030. So when we started, I said the global goal is to end, you know, poverty in 2030. I was
Yeah.
we want to take Hawaii
6
there
years.
with period poverty. And so, you know, we laugh and we say, oh, we don't want to have Maʻi Movement in 5 years, but that really is,
Yeah.
you know, because then then people have what they need. And, you know, that's why we, of course, provide the products, but we want to create systemic change.
Yeah.
So real change. And how do you do that? In policies, right? Whether that's in the community, so, or in the legislature, you know, in the government too. So like the bills, you know, that we push for, because it's like that makes real change. And, you know, even though we passed, a good example is we passed the bills for the public schools, but right after we did that, the private schools started falling into place.
Yeah.
So,
without
you know,
even doing the bill.
yeah, because they were motivated. You know, we had students from Kamehameha advocating for the bill alongside with us.
Yeah.
And so what they did is they then went to Kamehameha and said, you know, can we get these products in our school? So Kamehameha has started doing it, Punahou and Iolani as well.
You guys are starting like a whole little domino.
Not really,
reaction,
getting there, So I think that's great.
And you know, also being manawahine now. I also like love the fact that like we inspire other girls, women, whatever, you know, and locals,
just anyone,
so that they can like wow, those sisters, Hawaiians, started something and they're doing good. You know, like we can do that too. You know,
for sure.
For whatever you want, you know, like that's like super. Like I get super excited about it. Yeah.
So what were some of the discouraging things that may have derailed the organization, but you guys bounced back from?
There's one thing I always carry, you know, since we started our organization. So actually when we started Maʻi Movement, I mean, I love my sister, but you know, like any sibling relationship, you know, we can get into it. And when I told my dad we were going to start a nonprofit together, he said we're crazy. He's like, you guys fight all the time. How are you guys going to do that? We love each other, but you know. But
we'll get over it.
But one thing he did say was, you know, and of course, like I had my doubts. You know, we were in 3 different places. You know, we never done this, but he said, you know, Nikki, just keep going until you hit a wall. And you know, in Hawaii we say you gotta chance them. And so every step along the way, I said, okay, let's just keep going, right? And if not, we're gonna find a way around it. But you know, I think the hardest thing that I have had to deal with personally was the recent backlash on social media, you know, to the bill that we were advocating for. We had actually introduced it last session as well. So we had a bill to make free period products available in state buildings, and that bill had come about because we were already working with the Senate to put free products in the Capitol. So you know, anybody going to the building, like sometimes you're there for hours testifying, and maybe you had your products but you ran out. You never know how long the hearings are going to take. So for any visitor to a state building, you know, we wanted to make sure they had access, but even for employees. And you know, we had worked with Mayor Kawakami on Kauai to put products in County Park there, and also libraries and courthouses. So we had already had some public spaces. So we thought, okay, let's try to expand this so that other, you know, the rest of the island can also have this benefit. And so, you know, last year when we created the bill, we said, of course, we're going to put it in women's bathrooms and gender neutral bathrooms, because, you know, not every woman menstruates, and not every person who menstruates is a woman. But in the absence of a gender neutral bathroom, we said, okay, let's put it in a men's bathroom. One reason is, you know, so anyone can use the bathroom that aligns with their gender. But also, I mean, Kaika, right? If you need to go grab for your sister or your girlfriend, right? Like maybe if their bathroom runs out, because let's face it, that also happens, then, you know, you can go in and grab it. But what if there's a dad with his daughter, and you know, maybe she's too ashamed to grab it for herself, or if she has special needs and he's the one, you know, he's the caretaker. So there are, you know, different scenarios where it's, you know, you need to have the products there. And really ultimately what we were going for is access. You know, equitable, I mean, so equity of inclusion and equity of access to public facilities. It shouldn't only be for one person or one gender.
Yeah, I know. Like, to me, I'm like, you know, at your house, you have period products in your bathroom at home. So why is it like a big deal if you have it in a public space? You know, like they're like freaking out.
Yeah,
like,
that's
oh
a
my
good
God.
point, though.
But then like at home, and then even like they said about urinals, And then we're like, well, do you have a urinal at home? You know,
No.
like, you don't have a urinal at home. Like,
Yeah.
the toilet can do the same thing, you know,
Yeah.
like, because they're saying, like, women don't have urinals. Well, we don't need it. And neither do men. You can pee in the toilet, like how you do at home.
Yeah.
But you do have products at home. I mean, if there's females.
When I first seen like all of that stuff happening on social media, at first I was like, what? But then I looked more into it and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's obviously not going in the men's bathroom for like
For men to use.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, like
Because they're
people
like,
that
oh,
don't have
men
periods.
don't have their period. Like, duh, we know that. Like, we totally know that. But, you know, like, to the access.
Like people you know have your period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of yeah. So how do you reach out to like, I guess the government or schools or other organizations when exploring new methods of ways to help?
So we're constantly, you know, talking to people. A lot of people ask me, they say, "Oh, Nikki, how did you get things to move so quickly?"
Yeah.
And I mean, one thing is I'm very passionate about period poverty, about the issue, you know, of menstrual equity. So anybody that reaches out to me, I mean, sometimes it's incredibly crazy and, you know, schedules are busy, but I always try to make time, whether you're a sixth grader that calls me, you know, so over the years we've had, you know, a lot of student mentorees and interns as well, you know, in the university level. So we try to work with people of, you know, any age, any gender, but, you know, we do still go back to our grassroots days of cold calling, you know, and because not everybody knows who we are still. I mean, it's a big island. There's a lot of people to support. So, you know, some of it is just like, you know,
Or word of mouth. Like,
word of mouth. Yeah.
I know so-and-so over here.
Yeah.
You should call them. Like, okay. Or our friend would tell them to call us.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
you know how we do in Hawaii?
Yeah.
Coconut wireless.
Yeah,
just,
for real.
just keep going. Like, oh.
Seriously,
Yeah.
I got a
Yeah.
couple interviews from like friends of friends.
Yeah.
Definitely who you know helps in Hawaii.
Yeah.
So is there any educational programs or I guess places that teach people about not period poverty, but I guess menstrual inequalities?
So our website has, you know, all of the state reports that we've done and, you know, any kind of data analysis, but we also have a education page to just talk to people, you know, about their Maʻi. And when we first created Maʻi Movement, we said, okay, we got to have our services, we have to have the advocacy part, but we also got to have the education piece. And I still remember this. I had 2 calls in the beginning. One was with Ho'ola Napua and another one was with Pact Hawaii. And, you know, they were dealing with youth that were either sex trafficked or in transitional housing. And I remember, I was talking about my period products and like, you know, we have these Maʻi care kits. Do you need any? And they said, what about education? Because, you know, we have a lot of young people coming through here and they didn't have the support of somebody at home. And so, you know, I have a 14, she's now 14. I have a 14-year-old daughter. At the time, she's only 10. And that really hit me because what if they don't have a mom? Like we were lucky to have, you know, mom and aunties and sisters to kind of help us guide through, but what if they don't have that? So, you know, we created gender inclusive and locally inspired education. It started off with a booklet and, you know, we don't proclaim to be medical professionals, but what we did was we created a hui with local gynecologists, child psychologists, with pediatricians and, you know, midwives and RNs as well to create a booklet that was accurate but would start these conversations. And we talk about, of course, you know, what is your Maʻi, but also how do you manage it? So we talk about how to use pads, tampons, but even sustainable. How do you, because a lot of people don't have that access to sustainable products like period
cups,
underwear, cups, the
cups.
discs. So everything that we do, we're always trying to break down the barriers, whether it's financial, educational, or accessibility wise.
Solid.
Oh, sorry, wait, and
No,
and I forgot about the booklets, but we just started creating a YouTube series so that the booklets can be paired with videos as well. Yeah, and they're short, you know, like just 1 minute, some less, some more, so people can also see, because I'm a visual person, so I like videos better.
Do you want to drop the at or the channel name?
Maʻi Movement Hawaii. Everything. We just keep it all. Yeah, keep it easy.
Simple,
Yeah.
solid. So is there any I guess specific legislative measures you guys are currently focusing on?
So this session, we introduced 2 measures. The first was to make period products free in the University of Hawaiʻi system. And then the second one was for state buildings, but also including libraries. If you look at the Capitol page, it looks like both bills died.
Yeah.
But the university bill, I'm proud to say that we formed a hui, a coalition of different administrators, faculty, and students. And all of the legislative work, has caused change in the UH system. So I think nearly all the campuses now have a program in place that they're building up to put products, in the restrooms and in different spaces. And with the state buildings bill, we're also working to put funding in the budget so that we can still provide products in buildings and libraries. But we're still mid-session, so we're still
all the state
advocating and
buildings,
pushing.
right?
So
it's going to be in.
it's state buildings managed by the Department of Accounting and General Services. But and I think also a lot of people don't realize the bill was also helping libraries, and who goes to libraries,
Kids under at-risk youth.
Yeah.
I feel like, I guess from a man's perspective, you just don't. It's not a problem because you don't know about it. You know what I mean? But after learning more about what it is and how you can help the women in your life, because everybody comes from a woman, whether you like it or not. But yeah, I just feel like it's important for more kane to, I guess, uplift our wahine in that aspect instead of that shame, stigma, ew.
Yeah.
Maʻi.
It's like a family unit, right?
And period poverty, it affects students, low income in houses, girls and women, trans, gender non-conforming people,
even
people
women
in
who can
prison.
afford it.
If
You're at work and you're like, oh my God, I don't. You don't know when you're gonna get your money first of all.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I don't have pads.
Yeah, it's not like
So
you
if
guys
it's
have a
there,
countdown.
tomorrow at 2:00 I'm gonna get it. It's not like that. So then you have to tap your coworker or your friend at school. Do you have a pad?
Yeah.
Usually no. Then you're walking down and you're oh, and then there's nothing in the bathrooms.
Yeah. Yeah. Freaking gotta go help room or something.
Yeah. So if it's there,
and if it's across the campus, and I think people forget you're bleeding.
Yeah.
while you're trying to find your way to the health room.
Yeah, it's not comfortable at all.
No, not at all. And probably
then you gotta leave because
by the time you leave, or by the time you realize, it's on your pants. So also a lot of people, they wrap jackets around their waist. And one school on Kauai, a teacher had just a box of jackets for when that happened.
Instead of just pads.
Yeah, well, and that was a big push, right? He's like, I have this, and so, Chiefus Kamakahele was one of our pilot schools, and
I mean, hopefully you don't gotta waste all the jackets now. Not waste, but what I mean.
Yeah. So, it's a good problem not to have it anymore. Yeah.
Super good. Like how you guys said, that was a good. I really like that answer. Where do you want to see Maʻi Movement in 5 years? Gone. Because by then everybody should get it.
Yeah.
I don't think that was the first time I ever that was a good one.
Yeah.
I just have to give that props. So, I guess how can young women tackle the shame or stigma around menstruation?
Talk about it.
I mean,
talk about it.
I always, when people hear shame and stigma, whenever we talk about it like this, they think big things, right? But even small actions, whenever you get your period in public, you take your pad or your tampon, you roll it up or you hide it. You try, because you're also I don't want everyone to know. Or you're in the bathroom and you open it, it's you open a bag of chips, right? It's so loud and you're trying to do it discreetly, but it's just talking about it. And then not just with each other, but even talking about it with your sons, your brothers, your friends. When we did the pilot, I loved it at Farrington High School. The boys, they said this is completely unacceptable. We didn't know our friends, our girlfriends were going through this, but we want to be able to take products. We want to be able to help them, and they also use their voices, and they were submitting testimony as well. They were telling legislators
they
this
would go
is
pick
not
up
fair.
the pads for their girlfriends.
I would say it starts with your ohana, the people around you, and then that's how you make that generational shift.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if we think about it, who helps men when they're sick?
all the women in their life, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's like when the tables flip, men are like, oh, sorry, that's gross, or
Yeah.
that's
Men don't
not-
like blood.
Yeah.
They're like, oh.
I was saying that too. I was telling my friends like, bro, imagine if we bled from freaking our stuff every month.
Yeah.
I'd fucking pass out seeing that.
Yeah. They said men actually do pass out more than women. But I guess because we have to deal with it all the time, right?
Yeah.
So to us, blood is like whatever, but
You guys
yeah.
hammers this one.
Yeah, I know. And then like sometimes people think like they associate the Maʻi like dirty,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
I guess men like, eh. But it's not. I mean,
No,
we're cleansing
not
ourselves.
at all.
Yeah.
But that goes back to like, where did that source of shame come from, right? And I mean, we can go real heavy into it, but I'll keep it light.
In 1600s.
But it goes back to, you know,
Culture.
religion, colonization,
Yeah, yeah.
patriarchy, you know, all of that. So
Yeah.
I'm a nerd.
I used to always think, I used to be
Go
like, maybe because like when a girl has her Maʻi, it's like they know, okay, she in childbearing years. So maybe some moms get like very,
Nervous.
nervous. Oh, you know. And that's what I think sometimes. Like maybe it started from there or whatever.
Definitely. That's the stony thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, oh no.
So what core values would you guys say that you guys had from your upbringing that you I guess used or took into Maʻi movement?
Yes is yes. No.
No.
Well, pushing hard.
I think for me, I'll speak for myself.
Okay.
I think for me, it was losing our mom at a young age, you know, because she really gave us that bond with each other to take care, you know, and I also saw the way my sister supported us over the years, you know, even though she was, when I look at it now, like she was just a baby herself,
Yeah.
you know, but she took care of all of us. And so when I think about, I remember I would stay up late just worried, you know, about all of these people that were dealing with this. And you know, how can we help? Like there's just always a sense of urgency, because I was saying like, what if
Oh, she's gonna cry.
no, I don't want, like, what if they don't have a mom, or what if they don't have someone to help them?
Yeah.
And like, we're the only ones there. And sometimes, you know, we get requests and comments, and they say, you know, I'm struggling, and you know, this has helped me to, sorry,
That's why you have glasses.
this is, I remember, and they say like this, you know, this has helped me to like pay the rent. I was already struggling, and my daughter just got her period, and like I feel so much better knowing that there's an organization like yours. So, you know, even when things get tough, when we get stressed, when we get all this heat, right? It's like
Yeah.
comments like that make me feel good, or like make us feel like this is
Yeah.
the work that we should be doing. And more recently, someone who went on maimovement.org/volunteer, she had left a comment, and she said, you know, I was houseless before, and Maʻi Movement was there when I needed them to be, and now I'm sitting in a home signing up to volunteer because I want to help other people. And
Super. It kind of just comes full circle.
Yeah.
yeah,
That makes us happy.
And-
That's like, wow, our work is really doing,
Yeah.
you know.
Positive.
Yeah.
impact
and
for-
people don't think like, yeah,
5 years now.
if you don't have your
5 year goal.
period, like you can't go to work, you can't go
Yeah.
to school, you know. But sorry.
No, don't even apologize.
I think
the
it's-
rawness is what is like, what's real, you know.
Yeah.
It
Being
shows
here
it means
and-
a lot to you,
I know.
and it's important.
No, because I don't know. Like our mom raised us like different from her. She was like poor,
Yeah.
you know, grew up on the homestead too. So she made sure that we were always taken care of.
Yeah.
She wanted better for us.
Yeah, better for us.
You know, like she
So
would.
she put that in us. So when we do this,
Yeah.
like, if there's a no, we're like, how are we gonna make it to a yes? You know, we're gonna keep pushing.
Yeah.
Because
No
if
such
other
thing
people
as
can,
no.
yeah, there's no such thing as no.
And our parents wanted better for us, especially our mom, because you know she went to Kailua High when they had, you know, Kio Holiday, and when, you know, she grew up. No, you can cut that out of the podcast.
No, just stay. Yeah. You need people to remember.
So,
In the 70s.
so, but you know, like they grew up being ashamed
Yeah, my mom had
of being
outhouse.
Hawaiian, and so she wanted us to go to private schools. Like she did everything she could. Like she didn't have savings. She used all of her retirement, you know. And like I mean, and my dad, like they worked so like we could get a better education, and that we could be better than
Just
you know.
like the sacrifices.
Yeah,
they made,
yeah.
knowing that like it's to benefit you guys, of course.
Yeah, and so that we can do better. So,
Yeah.
like Brandy said, you know, we wanted to inspire other locals. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter where you come from.
Yeah.
You can always help.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got to go help on that day in Maui move all the stuff.
Yeah.
Man, that's a lot of product you guys have in Maui. I was kind of surprised. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
dang. Maui is showing out. But that's good because you guys do like a lot of help for like the Lahaina survivors. And
Yeah.
Yep.
And we make sure we do it for all the islands.
Yeah, exactly.
Not just Oahu. Like
Yeah,
we want to
that's
get all the islands, all the schools.
Yeah.
that's
I
what
learned-
I think is cool too.
Yeah.
I learned we're one of the few organizations that do statewide.
Yeah.
I thought everyone does.
Yeah. A lot of, I guess, origins focus on Oahu. Are real Oahu centric all the time.
Yeah.
I think it's real cool that you guys make it a point to go take care of the outer islands too, because I feel like a lot of times they're forgotten in the midst of things.
Yeah.
Look at, I mean, the Lahaina situation.
Yeah.
Brother Josh Green is not even talking to any of them about like what they want for their own community. You know, he's just kind of expecting all of them to beat it. So
Yeah.
he can whatever. Yeah, it's crazy. So, what were like some of the biggest lessons you guys learned through, I guess, running your own org from like a founder standpoint?
There's a lot.
Choose one, Brand. Choose one. Or we're going to be here 3
I don't
more
know.
hours.
You go.
No.
You choose one.
No, yeah, one
What
and
is the
one.
biggest lesson?
She's asking.
I know. See, now I'm like,
She's on the spot now.
Nah, don't take your time.
Yeah.
It's not Jeopardy.
so.
Okay, Alex. I'll take you for 500 now.
What is the biggest lesson for me? Was what we're doing, what Maʻi Movement is, and like I don't know, seeing like the what do you call those when they write to us
Yeah,
and what they're going,
testimonies
their
and stuff,
testimonies
yeah.
or whatever they write is like I don't know. I'm getting. So you guys put me on the spot.
Okay, I'll go.
Okay, you go.
I'll go. I mean, I guess I have, there's different lessons, right? Like
Yeah.
kind of depending on what, but I was just sharing with Brandy, you know, I think a lesson for me, but it also helps the organization is running this with my sisters. And, you know, we do have other volunteers that have now become part of our team. And, you know, I joke, I was like, oh, they're like our sisters as well. But honestly, it's like having the strength of each other because we go through so many things,
Yeah.
you know, it helps us to then show up
Yeah.
for everyone. And, you know, and we're always a sounding board for each other. Like, okay, this isn't working,
Yeah.
but, you know, how do we get around it? How do we
What do you
figure it
think?
out? And so, you know, it's really just surrounding yourself with good people around you. You know, I think that's really important, having good people next to you and also behind you to, you know, to keep the movement
Work towards
going.
the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I got my lesson.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
ready.
Yeah, go.
So it's more like it's hard work
Yeah.
and
Yes.
learning how to do it and working with my sisters and other people, but just overcoming adversities and
It's resilience.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
local people are resilient.
and it's not easy
Yeah.
doing a nonprofit, you know.
Yeah.
And taking in all the negative and the good, the positives.
Yeah.
So
But-
it's my lessons like dealing with that.
Yeah.
But locals always rise up.
Yeah.
That's what's
Takes
amazing
us a little
too.
while.
After we conquer each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking about it right now. Okay, we got it. Yeah.
We got-
Now, but going back to what you guys said about like having to deal with, I guess, the negative stuff on social media. Oh, bruh, at first, like I used to get real like not hurt, but twisted
Yeah.
about it. Like, bruh, babe, look at this comment, bruh. Look at shit about my glasses, bruh. And I'm just like, oh, now
No,
I
but
just
shit.
laugh because like,
Yeah.
That's what we have to
what does
learn.
bro behind the phone have to do with my life? You know? What I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
stop me from doing what I want to do or.
Sometimes you just want to fight them, yeah.
Ah.
Meet me over here now. No, but then you're just like ours. what was that? Was I gonna say like for ours, like all that negative stuff? I'm like, oh my God, like why don't you just do your own? Make your own nonprofit.
Yeah.
Do your own thing. You know.
Like you nitpicking all of the stuff or the way I'm doing what I'm doing. Go do
Yeah.
it.
You go make a podcast and talk the way you want to talk.
Yeah.
Since your issue is,
And
you know.
what guests you think you should have?
Yeah. And by the way, Brandy said she'll only come on if we got the glasses. So thank you all for the glasses. I will be sporting these.
It's funny. Yeah, Bella was telling me like, oh my God, Nikki didn't even realize like that was your podcast and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Because
like, you take aloha. Like,
it was the glasses.
Well, when I told, when I was talking to Bella too, I was telling her about your Ko'olau thing, and I thought it was so cool. I was like, you know, Bella, you know the Ko'olau mountain, it was a volcano. And then she's like, did you watch Ikaika? I said, yeah, oh my God, it's so cool. She's like, that's my boyfriend. And I'm like, oh. And then Nikki's telling me, oh, you know Ikaika? And I go, do you know that's
What?
Bella's boyfriend? She's like, what? And I'm like, yeah.
Because I was reading the comments, right, from the reel that we had made.
Yeah.
And and you know, again, I was responding to some of them just to educate, you know, to continue doing that. And then I read yours and I was like, wow, because you had written something like, at first I didn't understand this, but when I went through it, I understood it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this brother gets it. I was like, he took the time, you know, to understand what we were trying to do.
Yeah, it's not for the men.
Yeah, and it's okay, right? If you don't understand, that's okay. Like, I understand, you know, it takes some time to, you know, for people to be educated.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah.
even the way I guess reports were like kind of twisting it, like they made like you guys was only trying to put it in men's bathrooms.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to wear my clickbait shirt.
Yeah.
I told Nikki, controversial.
But I was like, what? Like what? There's
Yeah.
no way. Like Maʻi Movement would like, no, that's not. I gotta
Yeah.
look into this. What's this about? And then it's going in. If there isn't a gender neutral bathroom, it will go in one man's bathroom. Like just fucking one.
Yeah.
Relax.
Yeah.
It's not woke or liberal or.
And it's not everywhere, you know, it's, yeah.
But you have it in your own
women.
house. Remember, it's in your own, underneath, wherever you keep it at your house.
Yeah, for real. That means they'd be scared for using their own bathrooms at home.
Yeah.
Oh, but okay, sorry. One last funny story that we also, you know, because we were like, well, with everybody, right? But at one university, you know, as they were figuring it out with their facilities, you know, everyone's sitting in this important meeting, okay, how are we going to do this? And it's women mixed with men.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm not sure which department head he was, but he said, do we need to get biohazard waste baskets now for the men? We put in the free period products. And he's like, should our staff get HEP shots as well? Oh. And so that kind of goes back to, all right, we got a long way to go to educate people. But it's like, at your house, like, does your wife, does your daughter,
exactly.
you have biohazard?
Biohazard bags at my house. Not that I love.
Yeah.
And why would you need a HEP shot for your money?
I guess
bloodborne disease or blood
contact.
Yeah.
I mean, like, don't.
I mean, and then he works at the.
But that goes back
to the bathroom trash cans, though. Like,
yeah.
Like what?
Well, first of all, females don't want to have blood everywhere too. It's not like we're like and touching everything. You know, like who wants that? So.
Classic.
You know.
Yeah, that's so true. I like how you explained it.
Yeah.
Touching everything.
Yeah, you don't be touching everything and you know, wash your hands.
I consider this org to be a very aloha-based org. What is your guys' definition of aloha?
Love, taking care of people. Aloha, we all know the meaning, right? It has 200 million different ways to use it. But yeah, love.
And to give.
Malama, taking care of people.
Yeah, and to give unconditionally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because like we were raised, you always just be there, you always support, you know, and like I said, you know, my sister was there when our mom died, you know, as we've grown up, like we always take care of each other's kids and do that. So that extends to everyone, right? Whether I know you or not.
Yeah.
Like I'm always gonna give you that aloha.
Yeah.
That's
that
talking
love.
about like aloha, you know, like on social media. Like I was telling Nikki, I was like, you know what I don't get? All these people are talking about like Hawaii first, but then they're like bashing us. You know, and then I'm thinking like everybody, especially if you're Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
And then when you see Hawaiians, like, oh, getting all upset about it. But it's like, we all know that we have cousins that's mahu
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And would you tell your cousins that? But then you can go on social media and be like, no.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And there's Hawaii first. They're like, okay, we're Hawaiian, should do something. There you go.
And I think people forget in ancient Hawaiian culture, mahus did have a high status, right? They were spiritual guides. They, had an important place in our culture. And so, and like Brandy said, when growing up in Hawaii, everybody knew somebody,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Who
And one butchie
identified.
cousin, one mahu.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it was like normal to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like, well, we want to take care of them too. That's our family.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be like ill.
And we have friends,
Yeah.
as well. And
And they're the best friends to have.
the,
The funnest. But
That
yeah.
reminds me of a story. I remember intermediate, I guess like one of the boys was teasing a mahu boy. Bro, he got lit. Bro, yeah.
yeah.
It was kind of funny. Nah, I mean, looking back, it's funny.
And that mahu got cousins and brothers probably, like, I don't know. It's funny.
But he definitely can handle himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got hands.
Classic. So, I guess, what would you guys say was like one of the, I don't want to say like worst things that happened through Maʻi Movement, but like, was there any unbelievable testimonies that were just like, holy shit, how is this happening in a first world country?
To me, I think it's when women write
Yeah.
against it, oppose. It's like,
Yeah,
it's just kind of like, what?
it throws me off too.
Yeah, I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
I see someone in the comments, I'm like, sis, what?
Yeah.
Or they, so comments or even like testimony to the bills saying, I grew up like this. I was able to take care of myself,
Yeah.
and, this is my taxpayers' dollars, and why should we have, why you guys should just figure it out on your own. But people forget the reality is that right now in Hawaii, it's so hard for people to live and to survive.
Yeah.
It's not like how you grew up 1-2 generations ago.
Yeah, like I remember my grandpa worked a full-time job, built his house, and not that it was enough, but they were chilling. Now, like,
Yeah.
everybody in the family gotta work. Your kids gotta
Yeah.
start working at 15 for help pay rent. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, and so many locals can't buy houses, right?
Yeah.
Not like before. So
Yeah.
I was like, that's not the world we're living in.
Yeah.
So that has been the hardest is, lack of empathy, understanding at times, and even if it's not your problem, if it doesn't bother you, why does our work anger you so much?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of the anger and the hate that I never expected,
Well, it's definitely misplaced.
Yeah.
People are just looking for any outlet for their anger or hate.
I know.
You know what I mean? So they're just gonna choose whatever target. The first thing they think they don't understand. Oh, bruh, what? Bruh.
Yep.
It's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
But, bruh, that's social media, and I'm glad you're learning to deal with it, I guess, in a better way, because, bruh, like, what are those people's opinions to you guys? Like,
Yeah.
Why should their opinions matter over the people that you've helped or that think very
Yeah.
highly of you guys? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh.
don't
I guess because
Thank
we're
you.
human, right?
I know,
So we're
I
human,
know.
Everybody's like, oh.
yeah.
I was crying to her and I was like, Brandy, and I was like, look at what they said, and and
I'm
then,
like,
and
there's
then
probably like 40 years old in their mom's basement.
Like, look at their profile picture,
Yeah.
bruh. They
Yeah.
don't even have us.
Yeah.
but it felt scary because also when people would come into our DMs,
Ah.
and say really mean things,
Yeah,
and
like realizing it's a real person. Like,
yeah,
Like they want to beat us up.
Yeah.
yeah, and I was like, they're bet. But I was like, Brandy, because they said, okay, Nikki, you do the video,
Yeah.
and it made me scared. Like, what if somebody, I don't know, right? The way they were writing things, I was like, I don't know what could happen.
Hey, well, now you get the glasses.
I know.
Just make
Yeah.
videos in the glasses.
I mean, Kaika, right? And I was like,
This is like the gift you get when you're on this show.
that's my brother right there.
Yeah.
Only certain few have these shit.
Yeah. But you can buy it here.
Here's the link.
Classic. So I guess, like, you don't need to talk about this if you don't want to, but like, I guess losing your guys' mom at such a young age kind of forced you guys to grow up fast at it, like instantly, practically. Like, could you, I guess, share a little about what that was like? I guess having to take up the mantle as the woman.
Well, I was already doing it. No. I was telling Nikki, I was like, damn, how did mom like take care of 5 kids? Because like that was a different time, right?
Yeah.
Then we're like, she didn't. We took care of her. Because that's how it was. Like you're the oldest. It goes, you know, you watch your brother, sister,
Yeah,
this,
took care
that.
of me.
Yeah, you know, like you just have to do it, and you just do it. And then when my mom passed away,
it was really hard for us because, you know, we were all different ages.
Yeah.
And, you know, our younger sister.
We all went to different schools.
We went to different school, and our younger sisters had, you know, different dads. So then, you know, we went from this really strong unit with my mom to being completely fractured and
like separated from
Yeah.
your sister.
from our who had, you know, they were only 5, and you know, they didn't even understand what was going on. And so like we were trying to, you know, process our own grief, but we were just kids ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, and so it was.
So we like, go out, have fun, do this, do that. And our dad didn't know how to deal with it, so he was like, do what you guys gotta do.
Yeah, because, you know, all of a sudden, and our parents were divorced, right, at the time. So all of a sudden, it went from, you know, weekly or whatever kind visits. We go to our dad's house anytime to, you know, full time having teenagers, you know, that.
Yeah. And then their whole lifestyle, like, they
So
did their own thing.
yeah.
I don't like your rules, Nana.
Yeah. And then, you know, so it was hard, and then we didn't know how to process and to handle. So we, you know, we did the best we could. We, you know, tried to be there for each other, but I would say we came back stronger, you know, a few years later. And like, you know, sadly our sisters, you know, they got into the foster care system at one point. So Brandy, you know, took Jamie in and, you know, just helped her.
Jamie is a twin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And Jamie is the one that also helps us, you know, run Maʻi Movement. Yeah.
Oh, so that's not like, I couldn't ever, well, I mean, I was raised by my sister too, I like to say, but my mom's still alive. I just feel like that loss, I don't even want to go through that.
Yeah, because she was like the main person that did everything. Even like with hula, she taught us hula at the halal, you know, like we always, everything. So.
Speaking of hula, what are some of your guys' hobbies outside of this org?
Hula? I would say like hiking, but does it look like I hike now?
I like it.
Yeah, I like to watch people hike.
We're gonna go hike up there, Brad, after.
But I like doing hula, and with my son and his football, he plays flag and going beach, just doing family kind of stuff, like this kind of stuff. Walk around the mall. I don't know. What do you like to do, Nick?
Hula, running.
She actually runs. I don't run.
We're gonna keep that.
If a dog was chasing me, I guess I don't run. But you don't box anymore, yeah?
No, but I love being, you know, do outdoor stuff. Yeah, anything. Beach, mountains, camping, everything with my family.
Solid. So you lived in like a bunch of different countries so far. Like, how do you manage your Hawaii-based organization from different parts of the world? Like, time zones, all of that stuff must be such a pain, yeah?
I don't sleep. Basic. Lots of caffeine, just had a Red Bull. It's really, it was hard, you know, of course, like when we started it was in Maryland. It was just a 6-hour difference. I recently moved to Singapore for my husband's job. Now it's an 18-hour difference. But you know, you do what you gotta do. I mean, there was a hearing at 3 o'clock in the morning, my time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got up at 2 o'clock, got myself ready, you know, and I just make myself available when I can to everyone, you know. But we are, you know, changing the organization a little bit, you know, growing more of a base in Oahu.
Yeah.
So having Brandy, Jamie, Bella, and, you know, Lee come out to support. But it's tough at times, but, you know, like my dad said, right? You gotta just chance them.
Yeah.
You know, just keep going until
you never know.
you hit that wall.
Yeah.
People just talk about stuff and don't do it.
Yeah, and COVID changed the way people work, right? You
Yeah.
can do Zoom, you can do emails, and
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't have to be in person
Yeah,
anymore.
you showed
Yeah.
businesses like you guys are wasting money on rent for office space.
yeah.
Yep.
Let people work at
Yeah.
home.
The
So the
biggest
longest time, a lot of people still don't even know that I was never based in Hawaii. Because they're like, oh, she's answering emails all the time.
So
Yeah.
that just goes to show her work ethic, bruh.
And anybody can do this, right?
Yeah.
You whether if you live on the continent, if you're in another country, you want to help Hawaii,
Yeah.
you still can.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of. I've been learning that like through freaking, I guess, producing my whole podcast myself. Like I'm the host, the editor, the freaking fucking script writer. Yeah, a lot of people just see the content, but
Yeah.
They don't see the hard
yeah,
work.
they don't
Yeah.
see me doing everything else.
Well, especially when you're passionate about it, of course you're going to make it happen,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I know. It's the funniest thing. People just think like I got lucky or something. Like,
Yeah. And you're like,
oh,
no.
bruh,
No.
like
Yeah.
your videos do good.
You're like, I
bruh."
make
I'm
it
like,
look easy,
bruh,
that's why.
I've
Yeah.
been doing this a long time already. It's
Yeah.
about time my shit starts popping off. No.
But yeah, think about how many hours you put into it,
Yeah.
right? People, maybe they only catch your clip like, oh, 30 seconds.
Yeah,
But what
literally.
was that? That was how many hours
Yeah.
of you prepping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like at least 3 hours
Yeah.
into the little 1 minute clip.
Yeah.
I gotta go to the place, film whatever I think I want to put in the video, go do the research, double check the research, triple check the research, because everybody on Instagram loves to be cuckoos all of a
They're
sudden.
going to fact check you.
Yeah.
And they, I like how they put the, what do you call? The link to where they found it.
Cite
You're
your
like-
sources.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they do.
That's it.
But yeah, like, you know what? I mean, props to you too, y'all, because even setting up, you, like, people might just think, oh, we're just sitting, right? in one lo'i patch. But it was, where do we sit that, you know, we can have the best conversation? We got to move here, we got to move there, we got
Die from the
we
sun.
gotta cut the leaves. So,
Gotta tell my cousins, quiet on the set.
I know, it's quite honest.
Sorry, cousin, only 1 more hour, bro.
So mahalo to you as well.
Yeah, bro. I really appreciate you guys' time, your story, your mana'o. And yeah, I really enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you for having
I
us.
Yeah, I look forward
No.
to helping you guys more often and yeah, just being a help to Maʻi Movement. So
Mahalo.
yeah, mahalo.
Yeah.
And everybody, I'll catch you guys on the next episode of Tales from the Taro Pack. And yeah.
I mean, our heart.